Hi everyone. So I know I usually post on Fridays, but I thought because I made a new resource, I can make a quick video just to kind of go over what I made. So let's start with sharing my screen. Okay. So as you can see, this looks different than what you usually are looking at for US history. So some of you have already done it, but you can always go back and look at this video and resubmit your work. Um, so the aim is how did the Granger movement influence the Populist Party, aka the People's Party? So the first thing you kind of want to pay attention to is the historical context, because you're probably like, what the heck is the Populist Party? What are you talking about? Right? So the Populist Party platform was written in 1892 at Omaha, Nebraska. Okay. Document 2 is a summary of the original platform and some of their declarations. Right? So document 1 is a song from the time period, which would probably still be considered a primary source. And secondly, as you can see here, document 2 is a little bit more detailed, and it's, like we said, the original platform, like what they stood for. All right. So some vocabulary that you're probably going to need to know is, what is inflation, what is platform, and what is populist, right? So the reason why I made this is to help you when you are reading the documents, so that before you even get to the question part, you know what it is that you want to write and you really truly understand what the documents are saying. So first, inflation is when the cost of product goes up, but the value of money goes down, which I think some of you already knew before. I feel like we talked about this before in class. I'm not sure. Second, a platform is the list of beliefs of a political party, which is what document 2 is. And lastly, 3, a populist is a person who wants to represent the interests, goals of ordinary people, and believes elites are out of touch with interests of common people. So in this case, you can consider the elites the people who are wealthy, who are rich, and, not the ordinary citizen. So document 1 is a song, and there is a picture, right? So I think I may have done this with some of you, but this is a 3 reads protocol, or we've done this in class, right? So you read first for comprehension, and you kind of want to figure out, what is the text saying? What is the main idea of the text? What kind of text is it, right? So I guess the first thing we notice is this text is a song, right? Boom. That's one thing we can say. Without even reading it, we know it's a song, right? But let's read it to kind of try to figure out what is the text saying, 1, and 2, what do we think the main idea of the text is? So it's called 8 Hours by I.G. Blanchard from 1878, which is clearly from the time period, right? So we could also say this is a primary source. Now, we mean to make things over. We are tired of toil for naught, with but bare enough to live upon, and never an hour for thought. We want to feel the sunshine, and we want to smell the flowers. We are sure that God has willed it, and we mean to have 8 hours. We're summoning our forces from the shipyard, shop, and mill. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, 8 hours for what we will. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, 8 hours for what we will. So, what the heck is this thing? What is this text saying to us, right? You see I highlighted two parts I thought were important. But if we look at the line, we are tired of toil for naught, with but bare enough to live upon, and never an hour for thought. I can make an inference just looking at the words of toil for naught, bare enough to live upon, that maybe they're tired of working for not enough pay, or maybe there's more work going on than there is time for rest, right? So we can also say the text is telling us maybe the people at the time were truly overworked, right? Boom, right? That's kind of giving us something. And if you want to come up with the main idea, you can feel free to do that, right? But this is the first we just kind of break down what are we seeing on the surface, right? The second read we want to read for analysis. We want to look beyond what we can see on the surface level and really try to read between the lines of what the document is telling us, right? So I took one of the questions and it says, what is the 8 hours the songwriter is referring to in the song, right? So I purposely did this so you will already have an answer for the survey. So it says, hint, look at the highlighted text and the image, right? What do you think the people want? What are their work days like, right? So I know some of you don't have jobs or have never had jobs before, right? So you might not know certain things about work and what are like laws now and like what a typical work day looks like for most people. So in the picture, it says 8 hours labor, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest. So the thing that stands out is the 8 hours, right? Like what the heck is 8 hours mean? And kind of like we did for the comprehension, I focus on the highlighted part. In the chorus, it's saying the same thing kind of in the picture, right? But you have to kind of already know and understand that nowadays a typical work day is 8 hours, right? You don't work more than 8 hours if you're a full-time employee. And with that being said, look at the first highlighted text. It's talking about they have no time to live or rest or just to think to themselves or do anything that they want to do. They want to feel the sunshine. They want to smell the flowers. They don't want to have to spend all their days working, right? So they're kind of asking for this 8 hours. So if we look even down here, like this part is important. I'm gonna highlight in a different color. Let's do green. We are sure that God has willed it, and we mean to have 8 hours, which means they don't have it yet. They have jobs, yeah. They're working, they're getting a little money, but they're tired. They don't have no time to spend that money. They don't got time to do anything but just work, right? So the part that's amazing is we're summoning our forces from the shipyard, shop, and mill. I know you're probably thinking mix algorithm. I don't know what that means, right? But think about it. Summoning is like to gather people. And in this, like, when we talk about forces, it's like rallying the troops, gathering your peeps, gathering your folks, because you're about to do something like big, something crazy. You're getting your people together from the shipyard, shop, and mill, which are probably common jobs at the time, right? Mill, it's like clothing mill, food mill, whatever, shop. These are like working class jobs, right? They're gathering together and they're demanding what they feel like God has willed it for them, what they feel like that they deserve. So they want their 8-hour workday so that they can have 8 hours of doing whatever they want and 8 hours of sleep, that 8 hours of rest, right? So what we can say is like, you know what? The 8 hours that this songwriter is referring to is they want an 8-hour workday. They don't want to work all day and have no time for nothing else, right? They want to be able to still work and live a healthy life. They kind of want work-life balance, right? So we're going to say they're referring to having 8-hour work day, and they do not want to be overworked. We'll say demanding work-life balance, which who knows if it was a thing back then. But like work-life balance is what we consider today is having, you have a job that we go to every day that we don't hate, but we still have time to do things that we want to do outside of work. And then the last part is where you kind of want to make a connection. So you read it again, right? And you say, if this song represented the viewpoint of the Populist Party, what inferences can you make about the people who supported the Populist Party? Are their goals reasonable? Explain your thoughts, right? So here, and remember, this isn't for you to turn in. This is just to help you to understand what you're reading, right? So if we go back to the song, I'll read it again. We mean to make things over. We're tired of toil for naught, with but bare enough to live upon and never an hour for thought. We want to feel the sunshine and want to smell the flowers. We are sure that God has willed it, and we mean to have 8 hours. We're summoning our forces from the shipyard, shop, and mill. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest. 8 hours for what we will, blah, 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 right? So the first part of it is just like, what inference, like what can you gather about these people who support the Populist Party? Like, if this is a song that represents a viewpoint of the Populist Party, what are the inferences you can make about the people who support it? So what kind of people were supporting this party? Was it the rich people who have these luxuries and all this stuff, or is it working class people? Is it people who are poor who are working these laborious jobs? Like, who do you think it was? And do you think it was reasonable that they felt like they deserved an 8-hour workday? Do you feel like it was reasonable that they felt like they should have time outside of work to do what they felt like they needed to do? Right? That's what you're going to put here. That's what you need to think about to answer that question. And really go into detail about it. What part of the song makes you feel that way? Is it the part where it says, we are sure that God has willed it? Is it the part about summoning their forces, them gathering together? What parts of the song express that, right? Now, you're to do the same thing for the second document, except I changed it just a little bit. So I put the questions in the first read, second read boxes. So for the first read, when you first read it, you are looking for, what did the populace believe were the major issues facing the country, right? So when you read for the first time, that's what you're looking for, right? I highlighted vocabulary words, so and they're color coded, so you know to go back and look. And then secondly, how did the populace believe the government could fix these problems? All that information is there. Do not hesitate to Google things you don't understand, maybe a YouTube video, whatever, to support your understanding. But I would really suggest using this resource before you do anything else. So it's the exact same thing as we did before. I know this might seem a little bit more daunting because it's a longer text, but you can do this, right? So let's do the first read together. Historical context, same thing. Populist Party platform was written in 1892 at Omaha, Nebraska. Here's a summary of the original platform and some of their declarations. So remember, for this one, we're looking for, what did the populists believe are the major issues facing the country, okay? We meet in Omaha as our nation is on the verge of moral, political, and material ruin. So, I mean, that kind of tells us a lot, right? The rich and the bankers control the money in the country for their own greed. Our present system has led to two classes, tramps and millionaires. I mean, we can highlight this right here because from the beginning, it's letting us know that we feel like we have a class issue, right? We feel like there's the rich and then there's just the poor, the destitute. There's no in between here. There's no middle class, there's no nothing, right? So that might be one of the first issues that they feel like is facing the country. We have seen more than a quarter of a century the struggles of the two great political parties, the Democrats and Republicans, for power and plunder, theft, right? Power and theft, power and thievery. Meanwhile, terrible wrongs have been inflicted on the suffering people. Both parties have allowed these dreadful wrongs to develop without any effort to prevent them. The two major parties are dominated by greed, corruption, and rich people. So, I mean, we can highlight this is also another issue is they see that there's an issue with just having two political parties, right? They're kind of connected because even down here it says the parties are dominated by greed, corruption, and the rich, who they felt like were already causing an issue because they control all the money, right? You didn't even read the full document, but you can already still gather that these might be the issues, right? So they continue on to say, we declare therefore, wealth belongs to him who creates it, the worker is not the owner. The industrial worker and the farmer have the same interests and the same enemies. Most populous were farmers. The people of the country should own the railroads of the government. There should be free and unlimited coinage of silver in a ratio of 16 to 1 compared to gold. This would have increased the supply of money and led to inflation. People who own money generally benefit from inflation. This is because the amount of money they have to repay remains the same, while their incomes from selling goods or services generally rise with inflation. There should be a graduated income tax. As income goes up, the tax rate goes up. For example, if you make 10,000, you might pay 5%, or 500. If you make 20,000, you pay 10%, or 2,000. The government should own and operate the telephone and telegraph in the interest of the people. The lands, including the natural resources and the land, belongs to the people. They should not be controlled by speculators and aliens. Should not be able to own it. Land owned by aliens and railroads should be reclaimed by the government and held for actual settlers. The government should limit immigration to the United States. There should be a shorter work week for laborers, 8 hours of work per day, go back to the song, and then senators should be elected directly by the people, right? So after doing the first read, what did the populist read were the major issues facing the country? And so with that being said, we go back to the two things we highlighted in yellow, and we can say the huge class divide, right? The super rich and the super poor, and the greed and corruption of the two political parties, which are the Republicans and the I got a package, sorry. Yay, okay. Two political parties, right? Then the second read, how did the populists believe the government could fix these problems? So I think for the second read, it's like an analysis. You need to go and look at these parts right here that I'm going to highlight in blue and think about what is the thing that's connecting them the most. These are a lot of different solutions that they came up with, but what is the thread that strings them together? If you look, it mentions a lot about the people taking back power, the people owning things, the people controlling things, and keeping the government out, right? So in your own words, you're going to tell me, Mr. Smith, how did these people think they were going to do that? Like, what was their solutions, right? Just, you don't have to list the different things, but basically you should be able to look at them and kind of come up with what is the thing that connects them together, right? who are they trying to take the power back from? I mean, it seems like they, like here it says, wealth belongs to him who creates it. That's putting things back into the hands of the people. The industrial worker, the farmer, this goes back to the common people, the common folk, not the super elite, the super rich, right? The people should own the railroads, right? There should be free and limited coinage of silver in a ratio of 16:1 compared to gold, which goes back to inflation, and kind of like making the distribution of money a little bit more equal. There should be graduated income tax, which means it goes based on your income. So that means not taxing the rich less, and the poor more, right? The government should own and operate the telephone and telegraph in the interest of the people. It's all going back to the people, the people, the people. So how can you answer that question in a concise manner? Okay. And then lastly, what do you think is the author's point of view? You know this is the Populist Party platform. What is the point of view here? That's it. So I hope this helped. I'm going to post this video in the classroom, and I will make a copy of this document in the Google Classroom so that you guys can have it. But that's all. I'll probably do this again and post it on Friday for the next one, because a lot of you don't come to the live session. So at least you can go back and watch it. But I hope you all have a good day. Bye.